For nearly 3 decades now, I have been looking at the connection between emotions and the physical body and how abuse in childhood affects us emotionally, and eventually it ends up affecting us physically and those connections. So I look at emotional root cause of illness, and dizziness and vertigo is something I see in my practice a lot. I'm going to talk today about dizziness, vertigo, and the narcissistic parent and how those things are connected. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. I'm a transpersonal psychologist, holistic nutritional chef, and the best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. And I help wounded ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to become healed icons. And what's an icon? An icon is somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. Those are all the things that we get separated from by our narcissistic parents. And so I help connect you to those parts of the self that get lost along the way, where you feel totally disconnected. And particularly, I look at the connection between emotions and how they impact the physical body over time through the energy system. So what we're talking about today is vertigo and dizziness. Have any of you had this? I know I have. By the time I was in my late 20s, when my illnesses were at their height, I had vertigo so badly that I couldn't stand up. I had to crawl across the bedroom floor to get to the bathroom. And then I was on these vertigo meds and they weren't really helping. So then they upped it to another med, and it was an antipsychotic drug. And when I looked up, what it was for, I was like, I'm not putting that in my body. And all of the side effects, and I was already getting illnesses diagnosed from the pharmaceutical drugs I was already on at the time. I was on like 9 different ones, and I'd be in bed for weeks at a time. So vertigo is something I'm very familiar with, and I've had it throughout the years, and I've had a lot of clients with vertigo and dizziness as well. Here is how vertigo and dizziness relates to narcissistic parents. So when you're growing up in a narcissistic home, you are confused a lot. A lot. Confusion is intentional with narcissistic parents. They're trying to confuse you because a confused person is somebody who's easier to control. When you don't know which end is up or what's happening, you're easier to control. So one of the things they do so many things to confuse you, but one of the things that they do is they change the rules on you constantly. So you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, what's okay, what's not okay. You break a rule you didn't know was a rule, and then you're confused because you didn't know it was a rule, and then the consequences are so huge, like these massive rage fits for the rule that you broke that you didn't know was a rule. So if you think about just that alone and being confused about that, a major thing that we end up being very confused about is we end up being confused about whether or not we're even a good person. We may have so many accomplishments in our lives. We may have an amazing family and a house and have built an incredible life for ourselves, a great education. We might be very successful in the things that we're doing, but we still think we're bad people. Why? Because we were programmed to believe we were bad people. And if you think about how confusing that is, that you are so confused about something as fundamental as this question of, am I a good person, when you know you are? And then you know you are, and that's confusing. So that's one of the things that we have to learn to do, is to unwind the programming from narcissistic abuse. And one of the things that I do is I help people unwind that programming by going into the subconscious mind and into the body to help them release the emotional root cause of illness and pain and discomfort in the body. And vertigo and dizziness is something that I've worked with quite a bit. So if you think about inner ear and you think about the metaphor of your experience, and the body is a metaphor for your experience. And so your inner ear is that place where you hear things or things you don't want to hear, and you feel off balance and off kilter from the messages that you're receiving. The programming is going in telling you you're not good enough, you never get it right, you're not lovable. All these different actions that they take that are the complete opposite of what they're telling you. So they may tell you, oh yes, I just love you so much. And meanwhile, they're beating up on you emotionally, physically, sexually. There's all these different things that they could be doing to you, and it becomes confusing, and you've got vertigo, you've got these things you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear this program. Who wants to hear that they're a horrible person? And what's really happening is the narcissistic parent is projecting their own horrible ideas of self, their self, onto you. And so then you take it on. And if you're empathic and sensitive and you don't have the personality disorder as well, then you'll take it on, and you might likely become sick as you get older. And so you may just feel like unstable, out of control, dizzy. And if you think about all the things that you might try to do to deal with that, so you may try, when you feel unstable, you feel out of control, you may be doing things in your life that are hurting yourself because you don't know what to do. You're just trying to numb the pain. You're trying to escape the awfulness of what you're going through. And so you may even be attracted to do things to yourself that may be associated with dizziness, like drinking, for instance, or drugs. And you're just trying to feel better, but you're dizzy and your blood pressure's high, and all of those things are happening because you're drinking too much. Or you're taking pharmaceutical drugs because, hey, the doctor prescribed them, so they must be okay. But then you start taking a little more, to try to feel better, or try to feel nothing at all. And that's one of the keys to healing all of this, is to allow yourself to feel what you feel and to identify and tell yourself the story of the truth of your life and the truth of who you are and the truth of what you've done and the truth of the person that you have become and that you are in the process of becoming. So it's very important to tell yourself the truth, because those lies that you were told about who you were told you should think you are, who you were programmed to think you are, they're not the truth. And those two opposite forces can make you dizzy. They can make you feel like life is spinning out of control. And that's what it feels like to grow up in a narcissistic family system, when you've got all of these mixed messages that make you feel unstable and unsafe. So it's very important to seek help. If you have grown up in a narcissistic family system, it's so important to seek help. The help that I provide is very specific. It is holistic. So I look at the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the energetic and spiritual parts of the self. And we work with the human energy system and what's buried deep inside of the subconscious mind and in the body, how you're holding that energy, the beliefs, those awful beliefs you were programmed with. I help you release yourself from those beliefs so that you can embrace the truth of who you really are and really see that truth. And so many of us, we don't see the truth because of the programming of all of those messages that just make you dizzy. They make you feel unstable. You never get it right. Come on, of course you get it right. There's not a bar, but they set this unreasonable expectation for you that you can never meet. And that's part of the way they manipulate you to keep you weak. So think about all the ways that you were kept in a weakened state and how that is dizzying and how that creates that instability and that difficulty. And so one of the exercises that I like to ask people to do is to write down, like, say you feel unstable and dizzy and you're not feeling well, and you're looking at what just happened in your life. So maybe you had a big fight with your spouse, or maybe there's something going on with work. Something major happened, like you lost your job and now you're feeling out of control and you're feeling dizzy. And so write down what you're thinking about yourself. Like, I'm not good enough, I never get it right, I'm out of control. And now you're trying to control things into the thing that you want it to be, because that's how you were taught to do it. You were taught that you could control these things, but you really can't. And so that energy can really lead to this feeling of dizziness and this feeling of instability and out of controlness. So look at those two sides of the coin. Write down the beliefs that are coming up for you. These negative core beliefs that are not the truth of who you are. And maybe the beliefs are, I'm a failure. Everything I try, I screw it up. I don't get anything right, no matter how hard I work. I can't please anyone, and all I do is try to please everyone. So you start looking at that, and you write those things down, and that's the programming. Those are the lies that you were programmed with. It's not the truth of who you really are. And then you stop, and then you look at the truth. Now, the truth is, I went to college and I earned my degree and I've been successful in the things that I've put out there. I have successfully held jobs. I have, any little thing, like I have been an amazing dog mom, anything that you can think of that you accomplished, that you were good at. And it's not about the accomplishment itself. It's about telling yourself the truth of who you are. What about all the nice things you've done for people? Maybe you feed people's parking meters when they're almost run out, so that they won't get a ticket. Like, that's really kind and thoughtful. Maybe you're an amazing mom and you're bringing up your kids just to be loving and really be themselves. You're nurturing them. Really look at the truth of what you have done and give yourself credit for that. Feel the feelings. Feel those emotions of stability, those emotions of goodness, those emotions of joy, of what you have created. Tell yourself the true story of you. And if you feel like your true story is kind of messy because you've been doing awful things to yourself because you were raised by a narcissistic parent and you turn that programming in on yourself, you can turn it around. You can become the icon in your own life, independent, confident, original, and naturally you. You can turn it around, and no, you can. I've done it. I have done it with hundreds of people. I've done thousands of hours of therapy and coaching over the years with my clients and with my students, and I couldn't be where I am today had I not done the work. And I know you can do it too. And so if you are interested in maybe working with me and working in a holistic method where you have a holistic perspective, or you want to open your mind to have one, then go ahead and book a free call with me. The link is in the description. And just sign up to talk to me. You can go to meghaworth.com and check out my website and learn more about the things that I have to offer, including 52 ways to tell if your parent is a narcissist. It's a free checklist. I have a free recipe book on there. I also have a free ebook. There's just a bunch of free stuff on there. Plus there's my YouTube channel, so you can watch more of these great YouTube videos to help you understand, hey, this is what could be happening with me. I could have vertigo and dizziness because I get into this emotional state where I get so worked up and I'm trying to control it, and then I can't. And so it's about learning to let go and surrender to what is, accept what is, and then make the changes where you can make them and seek help to find ways to make those changes. So I hope this has been informative for you. I hope it's helped you think of your life or your dizziness or vertigo differently. I thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I hope this information will help you get well now.